Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Today's episode of Frankenstein Control is brought to you by Sturgis Whipple's House of Custom Drawbridges.
Oh.
Call up old Sturgis at his toll-free number, and he'll come to your house for a free quote on how much it'll cost to get you a working drawbridge at the front of your house.
Does he also dig moats?
He does not dig moats. You need to call Dangus McGee's house of digging moats.
Is it just a guy who digs graves and rents the backhoe out on the weekends?
Yes.
Cool.
But also, he digs moats real good. He'll come over to your house with a big old backhoe and some construction equipment, too. And he'll come over and he'll dig a big old hole around your house. Meanwhile, good old Scundus McKenzie, whatever the fuck I named him, will come over and give you a drawbridge.
Scundus McKenzie.
Oh, come on. Got this old Sturgis and the...
Good old Sturgill Simpson over here to control you.
Sturgill Simpson and McAfee Antivirus. They're coming over. They're going to turn your house into a home and that home into a castle.
Old Walpurgis Jones and his...
No, beer, I got it wrong. His name is Vape Cloud Johansson. He's the one. Wait, no, my mistake. He's the one who sells crocodiles for your boat. When you fill it up, but you got to fill it up. So that's why you got to call
a croc dealer.
That's why you got to call Windsor McKay's House of Moat Water.
Not just any moat water will do. You need Windsor McKay's Moat Water Supreme.
The only water that is both supreme and created by Gertie the dinosaur. That's how you know it's Windsor McKay's special liquid. He's gonna fill up a moat with it.
And then you have to call Art Showalter. He doesn't have any fanciful businesses. He's just the inspector from like the local zoning board. That you have to get to okay all this shit.
Castle inspector.
Well, he's that on weekdays, and then on weekdays on weekends he's Artie, the strongest man in the world.
What was that from?
That's from Pete and Pete.
Yeah.
Pete and Pete is another show that I never got to watch like all the way through or knew when it was on or what it was, but I heard people talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then whenever I've seen like a bit like Artie, the strongest man in the world, it's like this weird half-remembered deja vu fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? My brain is trying so hard to like remember this or process it or something. What's going on here?
Yeah. So I never watched that show as a kid.
Oh man, both of yous.
And then
I was not a Nickelodeon kid.
I liked Nickelodeon.
I liked it. I just like
I only liked cartoons.
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
didn't want to watch the live action.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I didn't like
perfectly put.
I didn't like the Nickelodeon live action stuff either because like you got shit like Hey Dude. You know?
Except I did watch
But
Kenan
Pete and
Kel.
Pete, I would always...
Pete was different.
Yeah, I was super excited every time Pete and Pete came on. Like, I really liked that show.
I watched I think I found like a best of list or something. So like they're like, here's the 5 best episodes of the series, and I watched those a couple of years ago, and they're really good. Like it's really funny. There's a lot of absurdist, surreal comedy in it.
My favorite bit. Wait, did any of those episodes contain the kid who grows a beard?
No. The only one I really remember was the younger Pete heard like a garage band performing and got their song stuck on in his head, and then he like forms a band trying to recreate that song. And it just has like this weird hodgepodge of people in the band, like his mailman and like his teacher from school is like the bassist and the drummer. And that one really had a weird kind of dreamlike quality to it because of his like half remembering of the song and his obsession with it. The other ones I don't remember. They were funny. I don't remember the plots.
That show is that show is just like a fucking, I know we say this word a lot, but it is like a fever dream because of its surrealist conveyance of everything that it does. It's just a surrealist live action show, so it's very dreamlike. Do you remember the episode where they were trying to prove that they didn't need to go to bed?
No.
And like little Pete and his group of friends all took like all made a promise that they wouldn't sleep. And like it was sort of like one after the other would like drop dead basically. At least that's how they treated it, but it was just them falling asleep. And like there were a number of
Then it turned into the Russian sleep experiment creepypasta.
There was photorealistic blood everywhere. But no, just like the show, like as they were suffering from their acute fatigue, it was depicted very like drug-like, very dream-like, very strange. Lots of use of after images and other crazy effects, and it was great. Did you ever see the episode where the electrician came over when Pete was little Pete finally convinced his mom that he was sick, so he didn't have to go to school? And so I think the episode's called Sick Day. He finally managed to convince everyone that he was sick, and so he was enjoying his day off. And that was when the electrician came over to look at the meter, and the electrician could see the future in the spinning of... And he was like crazy talking about doomsday and Eisenhower leading us to the promised land. All the while, the reason why he was talking about Eisenhower is because Pete ate presidential marshmallow cereal.
I remember that.
And he got Eisenhower stuck up his nose.
I remember that. And he touched an electrified doorknob, and that caused the marshmallow to poof out of his nose.
The show was great. It was ridiculous, and I loved it. There was another episode where either their school mascot or their rival school mascot was a squid, and it got killed somehow. like something landed in the tank and killed it. But like they didn't show the animal getting killed. They only showed the thing falling in the water, and then like the crowd going like or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the crazy thing about Pete and Pete is that even when you're trying to recall it, it sounds like you're half remembering it.
Yeah.
Because the show's dreamlike already. So it just sounds like a broken memory, but that's just the show.
I really should have watched more of that. The only live-action Nickelodeon... I was like you, Ada. I was prejudiced against live-action shows in general and would avoid them.
What are you talking about? You never watched My Brother and Me?
I actually remember watching that.
You never watched Clarissa Explains It, Owl?
I remember watching that. Why didn't I watch Pete and Pete? I watched those shitty shows.
You never watched the aforementioned Hey Dude?
Well,
or Salute Your Shorts?
I remember Salute Your Shorts. I remember.
Oh no, you're gonna tell us the story, aren't you, Ada?
So
you're gonna tell us
in Salute Your Shorts
story. I know this.
There was a character that everyone called Donkey Lips.
Oh no, I remember this story, but I don't remember where it goes from here.
I always thought Donkey Lips was a weird name, and then like as a teenager, I learned the term Donkey Punch, what it was, and I'm like, they named a character in the. Salute Your Shorts, Donkey Punch.
So you had like a Mandela effect.
Yes. He was Donkey Punch all along. What the fuck? And then I like looked it up and like, oh, it was Lips. It's something about that's worse.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only things I remember about Salute Your Shorts is the existence of Donkey Lips. A character was named Budnick because it sounded like Buttnick. Like B-U-T-T. Yeah. And their counselor was named Ugg, and everyone hated him. And all I remember is there's a Halloween episode with Zeke the plumber.
I've heard you talk about Zeke the plumber before.
Yeah, Zeke the plumber was a plumber who had his nose cut off in a horrible accident, and now he haunts the camp. And all the kids are getting scared one by one because Ugg is dressed up as Zeke the plumber, like freaking all the kids out. Mm-hmm. But then one of the characters finally catches him and realizes he's fake because like Zeke, like sneaking up on somebody, Zeke goes, "I can smell your fear." And the kid goes, "Wait a minute, Zeke the plumber doesn't have a nose."
And then he burst into flames, having been caught in a lie.
Welcome to our 90s nostalgia episode of Frankenstein Control, brought to you by Zeke the Plumber's House of House of Funnel Cakes.
So what I was going to say was, I do remember watching a lot of Kenan and Kel.
Kenan and Kel.
I did watch Kenan and Kel.
all that.
And because Kenan and Kel were funny. Like, they were funny enough and popular enough at school that I was like, I will overcome my usual mistrust of live action to watch them. And also because I saw Good Burger and laughed a lot at that. I will watch this show. And my most vivid memory of Kenan and Kel might very well have been a crossover episode of Hey Dude, because they were in a Western scenario for some reason.
Oh my God.
And whichever one of them, I believe it's Kel, is the one that's not on SNL.
Yeah.
And who
it's Kel Mitchell,
who disappeared from the face of the earth. He got lost somehow on this sprawling Western ranch, and him and Kenan and Kel were both in Western attire and were acclimating to their Western surroundings. And
when a man in a checkered suit shot them dead, and a robot cowboy rescued them.
Sure.
It's New Vegas, you fiend.
I didn't play New Vegas. I didn't like the body. I felt that the
that's right.
third-person camera was a middle finger to those who don't like to play in first person, as most games since then have been.
Their
but still,
third-person camera's fine. I don't understand.
Everyone moves like a Scooby-Doo character.
Well,
with
that's
slip sliding around.
That is
and the
true.
body physics are shit.
Says the man who played Morrowind.
Morrowind didn't have body physics. It had pre-programmed death positions, which I prefer. If you're like, I prefer that honestly to shitty ragdoll physics that don't look like a person. That's a fucking that's Tenchu.
That's Morrowind.
That's Tenchu.
That's Elder Scrolls V Morrowind.
That was Tenchu Return from
3,
Darkness and or
Tenchu.
Wrath of Heaven, depending on which platform you had it
That
on.
was Eternal Darkness on the GameCube, but it's the game with the sanity meter. Wow.
Stephen played a lot of that. I never
Wow,
did.
revolutionary games as we know it.
Going fucking back to Kenan and Kel, my only memory is of
To Keenan Hearts.
Kel dressed like a cowboy, getting lost on this ranch and finding a dusty old outbuilding and going inside and finding a skeleton of a dead man in there that was supposed to be scary, and then which he diffused the existential dread of seeing a corpse by picking up the skeleton and saying something to the effect of, "He's Mr. Dancy Bones, dancy, dancy, dancy," and shaking him around while rattling and quite possibly xylophone music accompanying. And
that's great.
8-year-old me thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. And it cured your fear of skeletons.
Yeah, was that the moment that your skeleton fear was cured?
No, because
the skeleton will always be inside you.
4 years later, when I was playing Drakon the Ancient Gates, I still needed my dad to read the paper in the basement so I could beat the fucking Ashes of a Warrior Fallen quest.
Aw. That reminds me of I didn't beat Ocarina of Time 1998. I think I was 9. I couldn't beat that game
because of the redeads.
Because of the Shadow Temple.
Yeah,
that was my stopping point as well. I was really late to Zelda games. The first Zelda game I got was Ocarina of Time, but
Likewise.
it was on the GameCube disc that you got for pre-ordering Wind Waker.
Oh fuck, dude, the Master Quest.
Yeah. So I played the regular, just like not Master Quest Zelda.
Just regular ass Zelda. Yeah.
It was so fucking hard. I couldn't find anything. I had no idea where to go. I was dying constantly. I got to the point where like I could fight. What's the boss of the Shadow Temple?
Dead Hand or
Bongo.
Yeah, Bongo. I knew it was like word. Yeah, I could fight Bongo, could not defeat him. Absolutely not. It was impossible. So then Wind Waker finally came out because it took me that long. I played that. I died once. And it was to angering a fat pig, which then like one-shot me because they're like the cuckoos of that game.
Right, where if you fuck with them, they fuck with you.
Yeah. And then
if you fuck around, you find out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
and I found out.
Side note, did any of y'all hear about the Twisted Tea thing? Do you know why that? The same memes that were souped to my family.
What the fuck is this tea shit happening everywhere?
I haven't even seen the video, but evidently there's some security camera footage from like a 7-Eleven where some dude is checking out in line or whatever, and starts going off on a possibly substance-influenced racist rant of some kind, and somebody else who's in line and is purchasing a Twisted Tea apparently strikes the dude with said can of Twisted Tea to effectively neutralizing the threat. And so now Twisted Tea is an anti-fascist meme and has replaced Soup for My Family.
Okay. Wow. I did not know that. I was wondering what was going on with all the fucking tea cans everywhere. I'm like, oh, these kids these days.
I'm just surmising because I like I said, I haven't watched the video. I've seen stills of the video of like this guy raising back a can of Twisted Tea about to smite some fool with it.
Smite the fool.
Did I ever tell you that Steven and I, in all of middle school and high school, referred to in first-person shooters when you can do like a melee attack, like a bashing with the butt of the rifle or whatever? We always referred to that as a smiting.
Aw. No, I don't think you've
Really?
ever mentioned that on the show, but I do remember that.
We always referred to that as smiting, to the effect that it's still in my head as smiting.
Yeah.
I refer to that as smiting.
Why?
And
what started that?
it was just funny. It's just a funny word for hitting somebody.
Okay.
And so we started using that to exclusively refer to hitting with the butt of a weapon. And in a first-person shooter context, even like when we watch Civil War movies or whatever, we'd be like, "Oh, I smote that dude in the face."
You were in high school when you watched Marvel Civil War?
Yeah, I'm a time traveler.
Oh.
I looked into the fucking electrical gauge and
And you saw Eisenhower
Pete.
and mushroom cloud explosion.
But we would always, whenever we were learning the controls for a new first-person shooter, we'd always be like, "What's the smite button?"
Yeah.
Smiting something you can do in Dungeons and Dragons.
Remember in GoldenEye the karate chop button?
Yeah.
That
ineffectual.
game was fucking impossible.
Like the single player game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the story mode. I never got anywhere in that. I remember we had to like lend our cartridge to a friend that could actually play it so he could get us past this one level so we could actually progress.
What I had to do with Luigi's Mansion on the DS, I had to lend that to you so you would get me past that fucking ice boss.
I remember that.
Almighty, I hated that.
That boss was hard.
Even you didn't like that. Even you got mildly distressed when beating that for me.
You know, Ada, that friend that you lent that GoldenEye to, he went on to become a fucking legend. I am a fucking legend.
I love that
Look
video.
up funny GoldenEye speedrun. You'll find it. You'll find it.
That game got mentioned in. There's a song I like by.
Yusan Stevens.
No, this one isn't by Sufjan.
Oh my
for
God.
Once. This is by a British band called Glass
John
Animals.
Mouse. Oh.
Glass Animals is really good. If you've never heard of Glass Animals, look them up.
Yeah.
Glass Animals.
And they have probably my one of my favorite songs by them is called Space Ghost Coast to Coast. And it mentions just a bunch of nostalgic shit. And, like one of the lines is like 007 Nintendo game. It's good shit.
And then they're going to watch the next Files with no lights on.
No, it ain't that.
I hope the Smokey Man's in this one.
It's Zeke the Plumber. That's who wrote that song.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He was the bare naked man.
Yeah, that band was called Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah.
It's an interesting band to have gained many a fan.
Along with the Butthole Surfers, there were many 90s bands that had weird, provocative names.
I guess
that
that's
have since
where
faded into obscurity forevermore.
I guess that's where the line is drawn for certain things, because, like, you know, you never saw the Butthole Surfers appear in any, like, 90s television block of any kind, especially children's.
Yeah.
But, like, Bare Naked Ladies would do all kinds of songs on the WB network. I remember they would just show up in person and they'd be like, "It's the Bare Naked Ladies." I'm like, they said naked ladies on TV. They showed that.
pee-pee hard.
How can they say that?
How can they talk about nudity?
You can't talk about that. It's my house.
It's a special performance by the Bare Naked Ladies right before a new episode of Waynehead.
Waynehead.
Now there's your weird, like, half-remembered dream show.
Yeah.
I'll say.
A friend of mine once asked me, like, she was like, was there a show when we were kids about a black kid with a metal foot? And I was like, I don't remember. And then I looked it up, and, like, Waynehead was, like, the Google result. And I was like, oh, shit, I do remember this.
Was Waynehead, like... Was that like a Martin Wayans kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, they were doing all kinds of shit like that back in the 90s.
That and, like, Baby's Kids. And...
well, no, like where they would have a major celebrity and then make them a child so that they don't have to pay them to voice the real one.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And so, like, what is it? You had Waynehead.
You had Little Bill, which aged real well.
Oh, no. Yeah, Little Bill. You also had, I don't know if it was called Little Bruno, something Bruno. A show about tiny child Bruce Willis. You had Life with Louie,
and then
which was a fucking show about Louis Anderson as a child.
There was
that was a really weird one. That's the one that
Bobby's World.
Bobby's World, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Howie Mandel.
And then there was Andrew Dice Clay's Little Douchebags.
I'm sorry, you just said this, and I need more clarification. There was a show about child Bruce.
I had to circle back to that. Did you make that one up?
No, I'm not.
I don't remember that one
it's
at all.
It's not a fucking look up Lil Bruno.
I don't believe you.
Lil Bruno.
And it was a child Bruce Willis.
Little Bruno is not that.
Oh fuck. Look up.
I'm just getting pictures of Bruno Mars as a child.
Okay, fine. Look up.
Is Bruno Mars does gay or whatever?
Yes, no. Said. Google Bruce Willis child cartoon.
Bruno the Kid.
Bruno the Kid. Okay, there we go.
What the fuck? That's supposed to be Bruce Willis?
Yes, that's.
Let me see the picture.
He looks like a nerd.
That's not Bruce Willis.
Let me see.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's him, the little guy with glasses.
That's Bruce Willis?
That's supposed to be.
How is that supposed to be Bruce Willis?
Well, it's Bruno the Kid, first and foremost.
I remember. I didn't remember that
I
show.
hope you have a picture of Bruno the Kid up right now so nobody's confused.
Unfortunately, I do.
I didn't remember that show until I literally saw that picture of him. That's fucking weird. I definitely remember Bobby's World and that it was supposed to be Bob Saget.
Oh man! Also,
that was Howie Mandel.
Howie Mandel.
Jumping on board. Also on the celebrity cartoon show train. Y'all remember Camp Candy? It's a show about John Candy as a camp counselor. It was named Camp Candy.
So I'm missing the Bruce Willis connection to Bruno the Kid.
What do you mean?
Because he doesn't look like him. Was like Bruce Willis on the show? Did he voice him?
I don't know if he voiced him, but he was supposed to be Bruce Willis as a child Willis.
That does not make any sense at all.
Created by Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay, there you go.
36 half-hour episodes.
Also, I should mention when I was Bruno the Kid's age.
Okay, yeah, Bruce Willis does voice the kid.
Oh, he voices him.
Okay.
Wow, okay. When I was Bruno the Kid's age, I thought that Bruce Willis was named Broo Swillis.
Mr. Swillis?
Because only a child would think that not only is Swillis an acceptable last name, but that Broo, for some reason, is an acceptable grown-ass man's name.
Okay, so Wikipedia says that Bruno contacts his spy organization through his computer, which, and they're unaware of his young age because he hides behind a computer-simulated avatar of a full-grown man, which looks like Bruce Willis.
Okay. The
kid is voiced by Bruce Willis.
I was about to utter the words "that makes sense," but I wish to retract that and say, okay, that explains a little bit more about the show. The only thing about Life with Louie, you mentioned Life with Louie.
Oh yeah.
The only the most longest lived memory of Life with Louie in my brain was not even the show itself. It was the reference character to the Life with Louie protagonist that was on an episode of Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
I'm Garfield and I hate Mondays. Ow! And he always gets hit with the fucking dodgeball.
Yeah.
Every sentence he said. And the Harvey.
Harvey Beaks?
No, what's the
Peanut?
Evel Knievel stand-in character?
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Ernie Devlin.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Is he guilty? Crazy guilty. But importantly,
he's crazy. That's what it says, fractured ass.
I'm trying to remember other
There's
child cartoons with celebrities as children. The surprisingly large genre of this.
They made a RoboCop cartoon.
They did. I
which
remember.
is like really fucked up.
I remember watching it.
It's not a good movie for kids.
I remember watching it on Fox Family every Saturday.
Yeah, with your family, your Fox family.
Yeah, my Fox. Well, I mean, growing on my dad's side.
No.
On my dad's side, it's my Fox family. On my mom's side, it's my Fursona family. My mom's a furry. She's not, B-Rye. I'm making funnies. Or am I making furries?
I pretty much just have a 1,000-yard jaded stare at this point. I'm like, nothing.
Brian was talking to me once about how like
my brother.
Yeah, he realized like he was like, how would my parents have been in like today's age with the internet, with all this subculture stuff? Like, would my dad have been like the conservative asshole with like a hentai hentai user profile?
Yeah, he would have been a red pill guy.
He
would have been, yes.
On like Tumblr or something, talking about cucks.
Yes, 100%.
Would your mom be into like crystals and shit and like goop
Reiki
or something?
Reiki energy and Reiki ASMR.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that shit would go down. My mom would have at least one jade egg up her.
Ew.
You can say it. Yeah. Subscribe to Goop.
Subscribe to Goop Magazine.
Comment on this video and tell us what you think your parents would be involved in, what niche internet subcultures.
Yes. if they were born
Kevin
in the
Rye
age of
would be an otter furry.
No. Liz's dad would be, because he loves. No, I mean, like, for real, he loves otters.
Okay. There's some validity there. He wouldn't just be on the otter subreddit like harmlessly. He would be an otter furry though.
Sure.
He said with disdain in his voice. I'm telling on you. I'm showing Lissa this episode.
Going way back, the same episode of Harvey Birdman with Ernie Devlin contains another line that I use in my constant, like, my internal lexicon of phrases that I just trot out and say internally in different situations. And it's when Stan Freezoid being that stupid robot who's like one of the other lawyers. All of the lawyers on Harvey Birdman were former villains in Birdman, and like Freezoid was this weird robot that froze people. Yeah. And now he's Stan Freezoid, the lawyer, and he's the lawyer representing that episode revolves around that kid who's suing the Daredevil Ernie Devlin, who's an Evil Knievel analogy, not analog. You know what I fucking mean?
Analog. No, I think that works.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Analogy wouldn't work.
Yes. So he's suing him because he tried one of his stunts and hurt himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, sort of harkens back to the era of don't try this at home, kids, and there was no disclaimer telling him not to do that or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So Stan Freezoid is representing the kid, and he's pushing him down the street in his wheelchair while talking to other lawyers. And he's like, people are walking past. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Freezoid's like, "Hey, how?" He's like, "Bobby, we're gonna do this with your case." "Hey, how's it going?" You're like pausing to like say hi to people. And one of the people who passes today, like, "Hey, how's it going?" "That guy's a jerk."
Yeah, that guy's a jerk.
And I always say that. And someone I like don't like, just like walking the road, like,
"Hey, how's it going?" "That guy's a jerk." I think we all have somebody like that in our lives, more than a few people. That guy's a jerk. But you can't tell him it, so you have to be like, "Oh, hey!"
It's also a very effective and yet unprofane way to just write them off as what they are. That guy's a jerk.
Oh, by the way, I've recently rediscovered a word that I've been dying to use, but I have no idea what kind of scenario I'd be able to use it outside of, I don't know where, but like the word scram. Mm-hmm. That's just a great word.
Scram, kid.
Like if somebody told me to scram, I'd be like, "Okay, I'll scram." I guess I'm just gonna scram now.
Okay. What we'll do is after we record, I'm gonna go hide under your bed and just refuse to come out until you get really upset and tell me to scram.
And then you'll scram.
Yes, and then I'll scram. I'll crawl out on all fours like a cockroach.
Ew.
That is the actual
You'll slide
verb.
out from under my bed like a skateboard.
That's the actual verb to scram.
Yes.
In Webster's dictionary, the word scram means to scuttle.
To scuttle close to the ground on all of your limbs while leaving behind a trail of pee.
Ew.
Like an insect.
Yes.
Like a pest insect specifically.
Frogs, they like to piss on you.
They just love pissing.
Frogs just love a good pissing. It's always a pissing contest for those toads.
Do frogs have cloaca or do they have penises?
I know they have a vent.
A vent?
They have a vent.
I'm
Which
sure
means
Bad Dragon
frog
has the answer.
butthole. Yeah, ask your local fur affinity. They'll probably know. They'll know.
You order it like a never mind. I'm not gonna
Oh God.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've spared you all.
Oh, that's a rarity in these trying times. Thank you, Ada, for such. What's the word? Restraint.
Yes.
A word nearly forgotten in this home.
Modesty and restraint, not something I exercise much.
No.
Not words that describe Ada Ship.
Ada Ship could best be described as manic pixie fuck creature.
You could have gone with Manic Pixie Nightmare Girl, but that's the name of a webcomic. That is written by a trans woman, so
Oh, there you go.
It kind of does fit.
The manic pixie dream girl trope died out
You're more
a
of
while
a
ago,
Yeah.
You're more of a
which I'm grateful for.
Oh yeah, on the topic that we were just on,
Oh my God.
Brian pointed out that your mom is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No questions.
Yeah.
It is-
You're not wrong.
Ada's more of a manic sorceress genitalia word yeller.
Cock screamer.
Yeah.
manic sorcerer cock screamer. That's the word. There you go.
A bog witch screech bitch.
A bog witch screech bitch. Oh man, and that's very apt because Ada just placed a spell on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm slowly turning into a tree.
With an even smaller penis.
Look out! It's an acorn. Now it's a pine nut. Ooh, now it's an aphid.
Ew.
It's an aphid penis.
I need a jeweler's glass to take a look at it.
With my last words, I curse P-Ride.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.